Hello everyone, Kat here, and today I have for you just a really nice hip-focused flow. This is great for people that spend a lot of time sitting or have been traveling a lot recently. This is also great for people that do a lot of physical activity and find that their hips are starting to get chronically tight. Now, what am I talking about in your hips? I'm talking about your hip flexors in the front. I'm talking about your hips a little bit off to the side. If you might get pain over here, this whole pelvic region is going to get it, even your lower back a little bit. So hop into something comfy, come to your mat, make sure that you're feeling good, you're feeling ready. This is not a sweaty flow, nothing like that. This is calming, relaxing, getting really into your body and out of your mind. So I want to start with a nice little meditation. So find a comfortable position on your mat that's a little different for everyone. I'm going to bring this foot like this. Make sure I'm seated up nice and tall, and we're going to do a 4, 4, 8 breathing count. So you're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 8. And I'll count for you for the first few times, but after that, I'm just going to use my hand to motion, and if you get lost, it's 4, 4, 8. Okay, get ready, get comfortable. You pick the right thing. You should be here if you pick this video. Take the time for yourself and enjoy. Okay, breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now continue breathing on your own. Feel free to close your eyes. I'll let you know when we're going to start getting into the physical part. Now we're working on the prana, working on the breath. Try to only breathe in and out through your nose. You can also experiment with Ujjayi breathing, which is having a nice gentle constriction at the back of your throat so you really feel the power of your breath coming in and out. It might feel a little bit hot. Continue for a few more rounds of breath, and this doesn't have to be stagnant. If you want to move in little circles, you want to keep your eyes open, whatever going to make this comfortable for you. Final breath. It's Dave and Ava in the background. If any of you parents out there are wondering, or if you've heard this before, you're all right. That is what you're hearing. All right, now I want everyone to come up into a nice all-fours position. Engage through your core. Nice long line from the top of your head all the way to the base of your spine. And just get comfortable here for a quick second. You can rock a little bit back and forth. You can come into some nice gentle circles if that feels good. I know that circles always feel pretty nice for me. But depending on how your body's feeling today, gauge. And then come to a place of stillness. Make sure you still have that breath. You're going to drop your stomach, lift your head towards the sky. Just let everything hang nice and loose. Breathe in, engage, cat. Let it all hang loose. Exhale. The reason I say this is at the bottom of the motion, you want to have no engagement in your core. Cow pose. Nice and slow. It's about the journey, not the destination. We're working for what feels good today. Keep those shoulders out of your ears. a nice way to warm up for the whole spine. Come back to center. Now we're going to do a little bird dog to make sure that we're nice and warm. So I want you to start by extending your right arm and then extending your left leg, flexing through the foot, staying in a nice long line, and switch sides. You may be a little sore. It may not be perfect. We're just warming up here, and you can experiment. The second side, you might want to lift the leg first and then lift the arm. See how that changes things for you. Doing a full breath before coming back down and switching sides. Keep that nice engagement through your core. Try not to rock. Come back to center. Open your knees out to the corners of your mat. And slowly press your hips back into child's pose. Let your forehead rest on the mat. Let that breath be your guiding force. Everywhere that you feel tight, instead of trying to tense around that area or getting tense in your forehead or your face, try to visualize breathing into that tight area. Literally breathing fresh breath, seeing if that changes things for you. Come back up. Nice and mindfully. And now, you're going to walk your hands out to the corners of your mat. Leave your legs about 6 inches parallel towards each other. 6 inches apart and parallel. And then you're going to lift your hips, melt your shoulders, and your forehead down towards the floor. Puppy pose. Again, take stock. See if you're clenching in other areas. And see if you can elongate that breath. Even see if you can maintain that 4-4-8. On the inhale, you expand. And on the exhale, try to melt into the posture. Engage through your core. Slowly come back up into all fours. Everyone gets there a little bit differently. I want you to walk your feet forward. Come up onto your knees. Prop those feet up. Put your hands behind your back. And you just may look up at the ceiling today. That might be as far as you can get it. Your hip flexors might be talking to you. Next step. Drop your head. You still have some more room. Hands onto the feet. And breathe. Little sips of air. Try to keep pushing your hips forward. Keep focusing on that breath. Find ease in the discomfort. Wherever you are, bring your hands to your lower back. Hands back down to the mat. Knees back wide. Press back into another child's pose and rest. Breathe in fresh thoughts, fresh vibes, whatever you want to think about. And exhale anything that's not serving you. All right. Slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Cross-legged preferably, and we're going to switch the cross of our legs. So I have my right leg forward at first. If you want to follow along with me, feel free. You're going to sit up nice and tall, and you're just going to start by making very little circles. I like to close my eyes. That's totally up to you. And I like to envision that the top of my head is a little paintbrush, and that my whole spine is moving in unison, and I'm trying to paint a circle on the ceiling. Why? Because otherwise I end up doing super funky stuff with my spine. Other direction. And all we're trying to do is use circles, use the centripetal force to get things open. Come back to center. You're going to extend your right leg long, bring the left leg over, reach up towards the ceiling, and come into a nice little twist. This should feel nice. If it doesn't, you can just hold the leg like this. And move forward so I have a little bit more space. Other arm right behind your back. I like to come up and over and breathe. You can look for the wall behind you. Make sure to keep a nice long line. On the inhale, you lift up towards the sky. On the exhale, you try to get a little deeper in the pose. Come back towards the center. Take that leg in your arm. You can either hold it like this and bring it through a couple of circles each direction, or I like to hold it, create it like a baby, go back and forth. And once that starts to feel a little bit more open, you can bring it in nice big circles. This one is always a favorite for me. Sometimes the postures where I'm moving, it feels like I don't get so tense. It's also a nice little massage for your glutes. Then you're going to lay your left leg on top of your right. Lift the right leg, seated, figure four. You can find some rocking motion back and forth if that feels nice, or you can just enjoy some of the stillness. Now you're going to walk your right leg until it is parallel with the left and come into fire log pose. The goal is for your top knee to touch the bottom ankle. If it's not happening, it's not happening for me either. So just give it your best shot. And at first, sometimes it's helpful to have your hands behind you to give you a little bit of support. If you want to get a little bit deeper into the pose, bring your arms out nice and wide. Bring the left arm on top of the right. Pull your arms down. Get a nice little massage for your upper back. Nice little opening. Now, why do I say massage? Because with each inhale, I'm lifting my arms, and with each exhale, I'm pulling my shoulders down and back. So you're massaging through your shoulder girdle. And if you want to try something different, you want to get a little bit deeper into the hips, you can walk the hands forward, still keeping a nice long line. Enjoying the release. Go to where you're feeling a change, you're feeling something happening, but you're not feeling any pain, nothing is hurting, nothing is getting worse. Should be feeling fiery but good. Push back up. You're going to gently take your top leg, cross it over your bottom leg. I am on a carpet, so I'm enjoying the fact that I can just move freely. And you're going to come into cow face pose. So I like to sit here for a second, let everything kind of settle down before I get into the full variation of the pose. You have plenty of time, there's no rush. Enjoy every second, enjoy every sensation. Feel the tension melting away from your body. Now, you're going to bring your arms out. I like to always start by expanding. And you can either come to this position, nice tall spine, or if you can, you're going to clasp your hands behind your back and lift. So they should be meeting right in the center of your back. Now if you still have a little bit more room, you still want to lean in a little bit further, the closer your legs are to parallel, the more challenging it's going to be for your hips. The closer your knees are to stacked, you'll be feeling it a little bit more also. Those are two ways to make it a little bit more challenging. Then if you want to, you can lean a little bit forward, still keeping that nice tall spine. Arms pressing into the back just as much as the back is pressing into the arms. Take a few more nice deep breaths. And now you're just going to bring your legs up and open, rock them side to side, get some blood back into those joints. I like to move a little bit in deep stretch classes. I feel like it helps get things open a little bit more quickly. And then you're going to come into a nice, wide straddle position. You want your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, your knees pointing up towards the ceiling. The first goal is to have a nice tall spine. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start to walk your hands forward. But don't go so deep that your legs start to tilt in like this. You want to keep that opening. And now just dig into it. Enjoy the entire bath of experience that you have going on. I like to do a little movement. I feel like that movement almost helps to dance my elbows down towards the floor. But that's only if you feel comfortable, if that's something that you like to do. And then finally, I bring my elbows and I rest my head. Some people are able to go all the way down. That doesn't work for my body. So don't expect to just get into a shape, to get into a look of a pose. It's much more important to feel the sensation. Yoga is all about honoring your body with where it's at, not trying to drastically change it, just trying to form those better movement patterns. Okay, now you're going to lift your right leg, touch it against your left thigh. You're going to hold on to the right knee with the left hand, and you're going to reach up and over for that left foot. It's a deep position, but you've got this. Sit in the discomfort. Find your edge. And then come up and out of the pose. Now, I had my right leg forward before. I'm going to bring my left leg in front. They don't have to be stacked if you don't want them to. And start with some nice big circles. I like to do small circles before I do more stretching, but as class goes on, I like to get my circles bigger and bigger. I feel like it just gets into places that I might not always remember to stretch. And as you'll see, even when my eyes are open, I try to have a nice soft gaze, especially when doing this sort of restorative, gentle flow. Come back up into the center. Extend that left leg long this time. Cross the right leg over the left leg. As before, you can just stay here if that's working for you today, or you can lift your arm, bring your other arm right behind your back, clip your elbow to your knee, and twist. Now start by finding your breath. Expand. And release deeper into the pose. Come back up. Hold that foot in your hand, however you like to do it. You can come with me. Come into some nice big wide circles, or you can just rock back and forth. You can hold the leg, whatever's working for you. Make sure to have a little bit of energy in those toes, so you do have like a gentle flex to protect your knee a little bit. Now I'm going to bend my left leg. Bring my right leg up top. Make sure I'm grounding first, so you might want to move some of the fleshy part from under your sits bones. Sit up nice and tall. And now if you want to, right arm up, left arm comes to meet it, press back. Ooh, do you see I'm mixing up the arms this time? You have to figure out for yourself which positions feel more comfortable in each posture. So I want to give you the little opportunity to see, ooh, I kind of like that way better. And if you're feeling ready, walk yourself forward. Keep flexing through your toes, that gentle energy, making sure that you're protecting your knee. You can gently rock. You can rest your weight on top of your leg. Wherever you feel the most supported today. And experiment, because you don't know. Every day is a little bit different. Walk yourself back up. Take that right leg, bring it a little bit further over, and come into cow face pose. And each side might be different. You might have been able to get your legs closer to parallel on the other side than you can here. Bodies are weird. We all have weird imbalances. You just gotta rock with it. Open your arms nice and wide. Right arm on top of the left arm. Pull the arms down and back. Find that gentle breath. If you feel ready, or you need a little bit more in the hips, you can come forward. Make your way back up. Come into those nice rocking motion. This nice rocking motion again. Once I'm this deep in a yoga practice, it's astonishing I'm even making words. So relaxed. And now, we're going to take that forward fold again. And I want you to see if something has changed. If you can move in a way that you weren't able to before. Maybe you reach for your toes. Maybe you again see how far forward you can go. See if there's anything that's happened. Get into it. This is your time. Make your way to seated. Lift that left leg. Bring it to touch. Nice compression against the right leg. Right hand, left leg. Reach up and over. We won't be here for long. Try to keep that nice long line. I know it can be easy to just start to hang out. Okay. Make your way up. Make your way back onto all fours. All right. Press into your toes, press into your hands. Downward facing dog. Start to pedal through your legs. Some people like to bend and then press up. Bend and press up. Some people like to have a nice bend to their knees and they like to press their arms straight. Shake through your head. And then find a few breaths of stillness. Now anchor through your left leg, lift your right leg up high, and open through your hip. Drop your toe down towards the floor. Come into some nice big circles if that works for you. You might hear some popping. That's very normal. As long as it feels good.
Bring the right leg back down to the mat. Lift that left leg up high. Open it up. You can roll through the ankle if you like, if you have the urge to. Come into some nice big circles. Bring your foot back down to the mat. Roll yourself forward into a nice strong plank. And then slowly drop yourself all the way down to the mat. Bring your arms back. Cobra. Now you can come into baby cobra down on the mat. You can come up into full cobra. However it's working for you today. Look over your left shoulder, over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Press back. Anchor through the left leg, lift the right. Bring it all the way through. Drop the back leg. Get nice and grounded here. Leave the left hand planted, lift the right arm up. Feeling that hip flexor start to relax. Bring the hand back down. Scissor through the inner thighs, so pull them in towards each other. And come up. You can stay here. You can press your lower back to kind of get yourself lower. That doesn't always feel good for me, so I'm just going to stay right here. And if you're feeling unstable and you want a little bit more support, you can put your hands on your front leg. Just make sure that you really do have that scissoring through your legs. You might have to pull one leg back. Don't want you dumping. It should be a nice, easy release. Still breathing. I know it can be more challenging in these poses. Bring your hand back down to the floor. You're going to walk your leg out, pigeon pose. So your leg can be parallel with the front of the mat. It doesn't have to be. It can be all the way back here, wherever you feel like you can maintain. Now I'm going to stay up here for a second because I'm feeling an amazing stretch in my hip flexor. And I don't know about anybody else, but those are so tight on me all the time that if I finally feel like I'm getting into them, gotta take the opportunity. But whenever you're ready, you can come down and forward and surrender. Focus on inhaling that fresh energy and letting go of all tension, whether it's mental, physical, emotional. Just feel it melting away. Bring your hands back. Bring that back leg back under. If you can, make your way all the way back up to downward dog. Open that hip one more time. And plant the leg back down. Lift the left leg up now, anchor through the right leg, and bring the leg straight forward. Get yourself situated for a second. Maybe you have to press back.
Get some tightness out of your calf. Whenever you're ready, come down into a little lunge down here. Now you're going to come into your twist. You can either look straight ahead of you if that feels better for your neck, or you can look up towards your hand. Trying to get nice and deep into that hip flexor on your right side. Bring your hands both back down to the floor. Scissor through those inner thighs. Rise up. Make sure that your hips are like headlights, both pointing straight ahead and in the same direction. Keep that engagement going through your legs. You don't want to just totally drop into your joints. And slowly start to feel that hip flexor relax. Drop your hands to the ground one more time. Walk that leg across and slowly and gently make your way down into pigeon on your left side. First, feel that nice stretch in your hip flexor. If you're feeling it like me, enjoy it, work through it. It can be very emotional. It can be very physical. It can take a lot out of you. But just enjoy it. Take it like you would any challenge in life. One step at a time. And then whenever you're ready, as gracefully as you can surrender into full reclined pigeon. Or if staying up works for you today, stay up. Return to your breath. Press your hands back up. Whew. Make your way back into downward facing dog. You might have to get there a little less gracefully than you'd hoped. Work with your body. Be flexible. Don't be rigid in your yoga practice. Sounds pretty silly, doesn't it, when you think of it that way? But I get it. Downward facing dog. You can wiggle through the head, yes and no. Melt the heart towards the floor. Push the tailbone up towards the floor. And now slowly walk your hands back in towards your feet. And come into a nice, gentle forward fold, keeping a nice bend in your knees. If you want a little extra for your wrists, you can come forward onto your wrists. Again, you can give it a little yes and no. Don't try to force yourself into the pose. This is just to feel good. Release your hands. Bring your toes so they point out towards the corners of your mat. And slowly, dropping your butt first, keeping engagement, come into a low yogic squat. You can have your hands down on the floor in front of you to support you, or you can press open through your hands, keep some engagement in your legs, in your core, using your arms to press those legs open and getting a nice
deep hip stretch. A few more breaths here. Feel nice and grounded. And now slowly walk your way back onto hands and knees. We're going to try that camel pose again. Come up onto your feet. You may want to drop your feet towards the floor this time. Hands behind your back. Stay at any step of the journey. Opening through your throat. Hands back to your lower back. Lift up. Bring your knees together, separate your feet, and come to sit between your legs. If this is enough, stay here. If your knees are already talking to you, stay here. If you have a little bit more room, first, come back onto your elbows. Drop your head towards the floor. Drop your whole head towards the floor, the whole back of your head and your neck, and then you can cross your arms above your head. There should be a gap between your lower back and the floor. It is a back bend. Take a few more breaths. Keep pushing those thighs together, working in the direction of touching. Keep a little engagement and light in those toes. Put your hands to the back of your legs. Come up. Cross your legs. And come down onto your back. The nice part, right? Don't want to miss anything on you guys. Alright, you're going to come all the way. I'm going to come this way for you so it's easier to see me. You're going to come all the way down onto your back, slowly, easily, gently, and extend your legs long, extend your arms long. Do a nice big stretch. It's not often that we remember to do that. Now lift your arms above you, take that left knee, and pull it in towards your chest. You might want to even pull it around the outside of your ribs to get a slightly deeper stretch in your hip. Ah, this is the yummy part of class for me. I don't know about anyone else. You can experiment with flexing and pointing through your toe a little bit, rolling through your ankle. Switch legs. Getting a little bit of core engagement while you do that. Having a strong core, that's where everything starts from. If there's a weakness or if there's a imbalance going on between your lower back strength and your core strength, or your hip flexor strength and your lower back strength, it really is going to create challenges down the road. So always be mindful of engaging through your core, bracing as though someone's going to hit you in the stomach, or I like to say, like, if you're shocked, like, that feeling, that's bracing. Bring both legs in towards your chest. Give your legs a big hug. You can rock back and forth like a little ball. I like to do that. Any chance I get at a massage, I'm always happy. I harass my fiance for massages basically all day long. So if I can do a little bit for myself, everybody benefits. Try to get your whole spine relaxed enough so it's touching down to the floor at the same time. Tailbone all the way up to the base of your skull. It takes time. We have a lot of imbalances. We
It took years for us to develop them. It's not going to take one time doing yoga to release, but you can always strive for a little change. Alrighty. Now I want you to drop your legs towards the floor. Rock your legs side to side, just like we did when you were sitting up. Find a nice twist back and forth in your spine. Then cross your left leg over your right leg. Pull it up into your chest and rock a little bit back and forth. Or you may choose to find stillness. We're nearing the end of our class now, so really start focusing back in on that breath if it escaped you for a little while. Bring both legs down towards the floor, unfurl, uncross. Now cross the right leg over the left. Same thing, pull it in towards the chest. Let things release naturally, don't force. Just be that little guiding light with your breath. Oh my goodness, I hope this video is recording. I have a funny feeling that it's not, so if you're seeing this, it means that everything worked out. Then I'm thrilled. If I did this all, at least, I got a good stretch, so I'm not going to complain. Now you're going to bring your legs wide and pull them down. Happy baby pose. You can come side to side. You can just stay up nice and long. Sometimes I like to just stay still in this pose. I feel such a great stretch in the inner part of my hips, right where my hip flexor meets my inner thigh. So I like to just keep my legs bent, pull them down a little bit. From here, we have such a nice transition. Bring your legs to a tabletop position, engage through your core. Bring the legs over to the right. You can use your right hand on top. And breathe. Bring your arms into goal posts if they aren't already, or keep them if they are. Again, engage through your core. Bring your legs up into tabletop position. I want to make sure I don't hit my couch. And bring your legs over. Another spinal twist. Because the lower back and the hips are so connected. They basically meld into each other at some point, so if one's tight, the other's going to be tight. The hip flexors and the lower back are also antagonists to each other. So one has to overwork if the other isn't doing enough of the work. One has to overcompensate. So if your lower back is too weak, your hip flexors are going to get too tight. Just a little hint there. Lift your legs back up. This pose is totally optional. It's plow pose. So you're just going to lift your legs up. You can come just into a nice shoulder stand first. If you don't want to, you can come right into plow, bringing the legs up and over behind you. I absolutely love this pose in every way. It feels so good. But if it doesn't for you, don't do it. I know that there are points in my life where it didn't feel good for me either. But recently, there's something about it. Bring the legs back in. You're going to touch your feet together on the mat. Come into a nice reclined cobbler's pose. The closer your legs up are into your body, the harder it's going to be. But I want you at a point where it's comfortable enough that pushing like your lower back into the mat isn't something that you have to do actively. It just happens passively. So you might be in a big, wide open diamond. That's where I'm at too. So we're going to stay here in this position. You can just go to normal Shavasana if you prefer. We're going to end with another little meditative exercise. I like to start the class and end the class if I'm doing yoga with it, even if I'm just doing it alone. And for this, we're going to do alternate nostril breathing. If you're stuffy and if you're sick, go back to what we did at the beginning of the class. So for this, you're going to have your thumb and your pointer finger on either side of your nose. You're going to start by pushing your thumb against your right nostril, breathing in. Until your lungs are full. Then you're going to let go of the right nostril, cover the left, breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. Breathe out through the right, I'm so sorry. Now you're breathing out through the left. Inhale through the left. Cover the left, inhale through the right. So you're inhaling and exhaling on one side, then switching. You can stay in this position as long as you like, but if you do have to get going slowly, engage through your core to sit up. You can also roll onto your side to do that. Bat your eyelashes open. Get ready for whatever else you have in store for the day. And right now I'm going to check to see if this video recorded. Let's see. Yay, it's still recording. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, this is Kat, strong, not skinny. Thanks, guys.